So looking back, how it's ended up. Is it more positive or negative experience? And if so, it would be interesting to hear the details.
We can do everything that Java offers, but quicker. We based our connectivity on this one very neat library, and this guy is being struck by a bus. Old but gold projects are dying out, and this feeling like that I could write this highly optimized code right away was just amazing. When they heard that, we are running something in Java and in AWS, not in Azure, they started, scratching their heads why there are more important things, especially to customers, than 1 or 5 wasted minutes of looking into the function signature.
Aren't you afraid that every library in Clojure ecosystem at some time will be abandoned? Hey everyone, welcome to the new episode of our podcast, Clojure in Product. Would you do it again?
In this episode, we explore how Clojure fits and thrives inside large-scale organizations. Today's guest is Marcin Maicki, who is a global data developer and lead developer at the company called Dentons. It is the world's largest law firm.
Marcin started his journey at Dentons over 6 years ago, learning Clojure on a job and eventually taking over leadership of a Nextlaw referral network. It's the legal referral platform built with Clojure from the day one.
And we'll dive into what it's like to maintain and evolve Clojure systems in a corporate environment dominated heavily by Microsoft tech, navigate through security audits, onboard non-Clojure engineers, and of course, how to keep the language thriving within 9,000-person organization.
So let's begin, map our questions and macro-expand them into real-life Clojure experience.
Hello, Marcin. Thanks for joining us on our podcast, Clojure in Product. Would you do it again?
Hello to everyone.
Yeah, it's nice to see you on our recording. And to begin, I suggest maybe just a few questions about yourself and your journey as an engineer, as a Clojure engineer in particular. So if you could, please, can you tell us a bit about your background? Like you mentioned that you were learning Clojure while at Dentons, and you were new to Clojure when you joined Dentons. So can you please share your experience on this matter? How was it for you in Dentons? And is it a generally good experience for you?
So it's actually a quite long journey. So I have started in Dentons 6 years ago as a junior web developer, and Clojure was introduced to me by 2 excellent developers. One was, let's say, the lead developer, the architect of the referral network that I am leading now. Second one was senior Clojure engineer. This guy was with Clojure from the very beginning of the language, and I had a React background. So while working with React, I was introduced to the concept of pure functions in general, pure functional programming. And when I joined, those guys showed me ClojureScript. And at the beginning, I was involved in writing ClojureScript. So it was very, very interesting concept where I saw that things from React that I have considered like the top level code with memoization, pure functions, it was already there. And this feeling like that I could write this highly optimized code right away was just amazing. And it was like my first encounter to Lisp. So it was very, very different from what I was doing previously. Yeah, the syntax wasn't this scary. I was already familiar with concepts of libs as I started with programming when I was studying actually chemistry in University of Łódź in Poland. And one guy that I was living inside the room was into IT and programming, and he encountered some of the Lisp, and he showed me that, and there was like this crazy book of Lisp or something like that. So yeah, it was quite long ago. But yeah, that's how I started, and since then, yeah, I always wherever I am, I'm trying to like put this functional approach to problems and things that I've encountered in Clojure. So yeah, that's how it started.
Interesting. Have you started from Clojure or ClojureScript?
I started with ClojureScript, and then I was guided by my coworkers into Clojure. So it was a very good, hints how I should proceed to learn the language itself, starting from the concepts that I'm already familiar with to the language and all this JVM ecosystem, interop with Java, working with databases. That was something new. I had some of a little bit of full stack experience when I was working with React and my, let's say, unfinished little projects, and where I was learning new concepts. So yeah, that's how I ended in let's say Clojure ecosystem.
That's interesting, actually. Thank you. And I had a question about Dentons and Clojure. So it's one of the biggest law firms like in the world, and it's interesting to hear how actually Clojure ended up there. It's like, considering the size of Dentons, it's a niche language pretty much. So maybe you heard anything from your coworkers or from the one who maybe introduced Clojure to Dentons, how it started.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting story because Dentons itself, it's very large firm, and long ago, before I have started, there was a need for the firm to grow. And therefore, the concept of Nextlaw and referral network arose. And it was basically a venture of the, let's say, CEO, senior project management, where the firm needed to create an environment for lawyers to work closely together. It was quite separated from the rest of the firm. And therefore, there was an opportunity to pick something different than, usually corporate languages like Java or C#, or even, TypeScript. So there was a place for Clojure, as it was very expressive. This language is, in general, very expressive. It allows a small team to achieve really great goals, in my opinion. And with very small team, the initial team that has started the project that I'm currently maintaining, they were familiar to Clojure. So with very small capacity, they were able to achieve really big things. So that's how it ended up here. And yeah, it's I know that this language isn't picked in firms of this size, but there is, so from time to time, a place for Clojure might be found in really big firms. So yeah, that's how it ended in Dentons.
Do you know the story, how it started? Was there a discussions, should we choose Clojure, should we go with the Java? Do you know the history of this decision?
Oh, yes. It was quite simple, So when I'm chatting with other developers or people in the firm and I'm saying things about Clojure, I need to how to spell it, what is this language? But after you mentioned that we have Java underneath, we can do everything that Java offers, but quicker, and that's something that is very catchy.
I see. Very interesting. So the question is basically, what is the place of Clojure right now in Dentons? Is it used for one subsystem, or it's more widely used for different modules, different microservices? I don't know.
Yeah, so right now it's, let's say, sitting in its own spot. So there is a delegated environment for the Clojure ecosystem that is running in Nextflow. So basically, everything that was associated with Nextflow was intended to run on Clojure, and right now it's in own spot, sitting right there, and some of the services are integrated. We are opening some gateways for the APIs, so that's mainly it. So like this is I won't get into details, but right now it's quite enclosed with some connection endpoints available to the rest of the firm.
So you don't know any other Clojure team inside the Dentons?
No, I'm quite alone with this technology in a firm. But when I'm showing some of the concepts of the language, everybody gets like the light bulb above their heads, and they seem to find it really interesting.
We were talking about the place of Clojure in the Dentons right now, and to follow up this topic with a question, I'm curious about the status of a Clojure inside the company. So was it originally sanctioned by a CTO of a company to put this language into the stack, or it was kind of under a radar, and only afterwards, when everyone saw that it works okay and very good, it was sanctioned. So was the status changed over the time? That's interesting.
I'm afraid that I wasn't at the very beginning, and this knowledge was a little bit hidden from me. But from what I know, it was accepted by the global team. So it was conscious decision. And we had security checks, everything had to be in place. It was, from what I know, a very well-made decision at the very beginning.
Very interesting to see the results of security checks of a Clojure. What kind of checks for what vulnerabilities? That's pretty interesting.
And you said for the very beginning, so everyone was happy. But looking back in the conversations with your colleagues, again, with those maybe who introduced Clojure to Dentons, maybe they shared any unexpected benefits or perhaps drawbacks of using Clojure in past some time. Mm-hmm. So looking back, how it's ended up, is it more positive or negative experience? And if so, it would be interesting to hear the details.
I think that in the process, while we needed to integrate a bit more into the corporate ecosystem, we started to find obstacles. So, from our end, it was quite simple. It was just some coding with APIs. But there were issues with understanding from the others, from the other developer teams, which were running mostly C# things or TypeScript node servers. When they heard that we are running something in Java and in AWS, not in Azure, they started scratching their heads why it's like that. So in the process from very happy Lone Island somewhere in the firm, when there were need for integrations, some cracks started to arise. So yeah, that's a general overview how it looks.
And what kind of cracks? I'm curious, because from my understanding, if you are only exposing the APIs, you can provide the documentation, maybe Swagger Docs or just Google Docs, I don't know, and that should be enough. So what kind of cracks?
Mainly because of how to say that, not usual technologies that we use. So it wasn't mostly like coding or something like that, but from the project management perspective. So yeah, we had like, we have Metabase, and why you're not using Power BI, for example. Those types of things. And we were supposed to run Clojure stack, but we already have something in place. So it adds complexity to the general firm ecosystem.
So have you provided some training about the Metabase? As I understand, this is kind of a data analytics tool, not a developer's tool, yeah?
Yeah, so if somebody would like to see the data that we are working on, I need to give everybody a short tour around Metabase. So from developer perspective, it's excellent, but it steals little amounts of everybody's time. Because people are already familiar with some technologies, Power BIs, other tech stacks running like .NET in such big corporate environment, and suddenly you're being, people that are in business for 20 years or something like that are being introduced to very fresh new technologies and that they are not familiar with, and it's always something new, and a call or one or two is needed for explanations, what, where, and why.
I see. Very interesting. So it's kind of very isolated lake of Clojure inside the sea of the dentist technologies. Yeah.
Yeah. We can call it like that. Yeah.
Now, let's move more into the team and collaboration part of a podcast. So can you tell about the current role, what you are doing in Dentons, and do you have day-to-day hand coding sessions, something like this, or are you more managing the people?
So let's say it's a bit complex because in the last year I have changed my official title. So right now I'm global data developer in Dentons. I'm working mostly right now with PySpark and Databricks, doing operations on very large data sets. And yeah, that's what I mostly do right now. But in the same time, I'm also sharing a lead developer role for the Nextdoor referral network, which is the Clojure app that is running side by side with whole Dentons ecosystem. So in the referral network, since previously it was very hard coding, let's call it. So a lot of coding, a lot of also I think architecture, AWS stuff, DevOps. That's what I was doing quite a lot. And with the Clojure part itself, it was a lot of pull requests, reviews, a lot of changes done by myself to the, let's call, critical parts of the application. That's how I was operating. And in the very beginning, it was mostly front-end related tasks. And after that, I had to really quickly jump into the backend stuff with Clojure. So yeah, it was quite a lot of coding, and I think in the last 2 years it has mainly changed to reviewing pull requests, marking the direction for the others. So reviewing pull requests, structuring ideas for the new features, how they can be implemented. So yeah, that's mostly it. And from the coding perspective, right now it's I'm coding in, let's say, in different languages, but I'm still doing a lot of pull requests, reviews in Clojure. So it's and also cooperation with business. That's mostly it as a lead developer.
You mentioned that the size of a Clojure team originally was pretty lean. Yeah. What is the current size of a Clojure team?
So currently, it's me as a lead developer, one Clojure developer that is doing the hard work, let's call it. Yeah, this guy is also really cool. He joined as a, let's say, mid developer, fresh after, let's say, junior. And I think that the project currently for him is a really nice sandbox for evolving his skills. So that's how I'm viewing it. And in addition to that, we have testers, automation and manual testers. We have also right now 3 DevOps guys. That's the how team is structured right now.
Mm-hmm. 3 DevOps and 1 developer. Very interesting.
That's mostly because of the maturity of the referral network itself. We have delivered very cool features that required a lot of Clojure coding for the past years, and right now, since the also objectives of the Dentons have shifted, we basically, it's not so easy. Actually, there's quite a lot of coding because, but for example, we are migrating to Rated from Composure API. So yeah, that's something new. We have to rebuild basically all our API. A lot, definitely horrendous amount of work. So yeah, that's how it looks.
And why you decided to migrate from Composure?
Well, I think actually I'll start with the issue that in general the Clojure community has, like the old but gold projects are dying out. So when I'm seeing that the project isn't maintained for 2 years, or that last patch was introduced a year ago, or that the team that is maintaining the library is shifting towards another project, I think that's a yellow light, or in some cases a red light, that we should make up our mind on what we need to do, because some of the old projects have old dependencies, and we know how it's with old dependencies when they are not maintained. And that's basically the idea behind the migrations changes in our libraries.
Mm-hmm. Is it kind of security implication for these changes? Yeah.
Yes, this is security implication. That's the one thing. And the other thing is also developer experience. As with new libraries, I'm seeing improved approach to some of the issues. So, like, I don't know, Stewart Sierra component has evolved into Integrand, for example. So, like, this part, but mainly it's security. From this perspective, it's definitely security.
Very interesting, because we've touched this question a lot in previous podcasts, and it was never mentioned as a problem, and it was mentioned like as a good thing. So it's not, kind of, it's done basically. These libraries don't need to be changed at all. And you're saying about the security implication, dependencies, yeah, and it's pretty valid point. Very interesting. Do you have some security scanner in the system, or maybe on the CI part, checking the dependencies?
We have, I think it was Lane Ancient. So we have this in place, but we also from time to time have black box testing and white box testing from an external contractors that are trying to break stuff. And when they are scanning, like in the white box testing, some of our dependencies, basically it's that when some senior manager gets a list with 10 critical severities from the NVD list, and it gets nasty. And especially when you're running a law firm and handling sensitive data, it's important to keep everything secure. So we have those scans, I think, yearly right now. So that's one of our main coding tasks. So yeah, keeping things secure, especially that I think from what I'm seeing that the dangers that are hidden in the web and the new methods that are constantly being tried by malicious actors, it's something that I think every team needs to take care of because in the end, otherwise you end up like some vibe coded app spitting out thousands of personal data. And it's good to be a law firm because you have lawyers that might handle the lawsuit, but it's better not to.
Very interesting perspective. Probably first time I hear this kind of this point of view about the security. Aren't you afraid that every library in Clojure ecosystem at some time will be abandoned? Because I've seen a lot of kind of abandoned projects 5 years ago, last commits.
Yeah, that's something that I wouldn't like to see in the future. So fortunately, there is a Nubank team. And there is also guys from Metascene. So I think that because Clojure is widely adapted also in banking and fintechs, I think that we are good for some time. But it's one thing is that it's very easy to write something in Lisp. Second thing is that when it gets to maintenance, you are getting into GitHub, seeing that one maintainer. Imagine, we based our connectivity on this one very neat library, and this guy is being struck by a bus, and so that's another story. But that's one of the things that makes me a bit nervous in like long lifespan of the application.
I'm curious, is these technical decisions pass some checklists from the, procurement team? I don't know who is making the decisions. For example, one maintainer in the open source project should be forbidden, probably.
So in Nextflow referral network, the decisions are not made by the stars on GitHub. But for example, if I see guys like, from the Clojure core team behind some of libraries, then I'm feeling comfortable with using it. So we are picking, let's say, libraries that are battle tested and not like. Some time ago, I was doing a little bit with machine learning with Clojure. I wanted to see how it works. And there were cool libraries, but, there was one guy maintaining it, and he was selling books for his library. So somebody, makes living off of it, but it works well. But, many things can happen when you have like one king and ruler of some library.
Yeah. I heard the stories even about languages when one maintainer, there was a Haskell-inspired language for the front end. I don't remember its name, but I heard the story that one maintainer decided to change the roadmap and the way the language works, and it basically breaks. And the community was disappointed. There are created many forks, but no fork was elected as a new king, so it just disappeared. Yeah, I can understand these worries.
And speaking of maintenance of the libraries, I guess same applies to the team and to the maintenance of the project itself. You mentioned that the team is not pretty big in terms of the Clojure engineers. However, at some point, you probably have onboarded new people or will onboard new people. Can you maybe share in a few words, how do you do this? Like, how do you ensure the knowledge transfer, maybe especially to the people who are not are Clojure engineers? Just how do you handle the situation on the project?
Situations where I do not have Clojure engineers, it's something that is really in front of me. So I need to show the project and the language and all the ecosystem to some of my friends from Global Data Services team that I'm currently in, as we are sharing some of the responsibilities. So we are reducing the buzz factor. So basically, I think that the strongest part is to create docs, basically. So with descriptions of like fire emergency situations, like critical procedures, and so everybody can come in, run some CLI commands, or change some of the code in critical part, for example, certificate, and put an application up to the speed. So in general, sharing knowledge across teams are 1 hour every week for some period of time. And once you have, I think, experienced developers wrapping their mind around Clojure, especially if they were doing some functional stuff, for example, in JavaScript, they know the concepts, carrying, etc. and etc. It's quite simple, actually. That's what I'm thinking. And with the new developers that I'm introducing, well, I think that I'm searching for a need to learn new stuff and not being discouraged. Because like I have problems with parentheses, it can be solved with one plugin into IDE. So that's how I'm perceiving it. It's I'm looking always when I'm showing this language or project to younger developers. I'm thinking, how I started it. I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn new cool stuff, and I'm searching for this in others.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Do you have some internal courses for the Clojure, kind of changing the stack?
Honestly, no. I don't have nothing internal like courses. It's better to, from my experience, better to meet and just point your finger at something that here is the part that you need to start from, and you go up to the stack trace, and you will find the root cause, and how the application works. So I think that the interaction between people is much better than watching a YouTube video. So that's how, in my opinion, courses end up.
I see. Yeah. Especially in ClojureScript, stack traces can be rather confusing.
Yeah.
I remember using core async, and it was a really interesting experience.
Yeah, you need to know how JavaScript works really, really well, and how this whole loop of JavaScript events is being handled, etc., and etc. Also, React knowledge is really needed when you're working with Reagent.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking about other parts of the systems aside of the Clojure, you mentioned already Metabase, and I'm curious, do you use some Clojure-specific databases like Datomic, maybe XTDB, or something like this? And can you elaborate a bit more about the whole technical stack of the project?
Technical stack. We have Postgres as our database, so we are using. I can fire up my ID and tell you more about dependencies. If you would like to chat,
cool.
but in general, I don't want to overshare. So we also have Elasticsearch underneath for indexing and handling the data, Reagent, Reframe. We had Composure for quite some time, and then Composure 2.0 alpha, and now migrating to Rated. And what do we have else there? It's hard to tell this from out of memory, honestly.
Yeah, frankly speaking, I think that's more than enough. You don't need to tell about all minor dependencies that you have.
Okay, that's
maybe,
cool. Also, I wouldn't get into details. So yeah, that's mostly the app is. We always try to keep application really simple. So having a stack like Postgres, Elastic, and Clojure with some of the Java interop, and also we also have Material UI on the front end. So yeah, that's mostly it. What I think worth of mentioning.
I see. Very interesting. And can you tell maybe about how do you keep the code base clean? How long the project exists actually?
So it's almost 9 years.
9 years.
9 years. Yeah. So cleanups. I remember this blog post about a crooked tree that is growing in the mountains. So that's how it is with software projects that are running for multiple years. So it's like that this project needed to withstand multiple differing business requirements, shifts in strategies, in the shape of the team. So the cleanups, well, we're I don't know how to tell that, just find a library, hit Control F, replace everything with empty space and see what breaks, then go after, chase the rabbit, so until you eradicate the issue to the limit. So that's how the cleanups basically work, so it requires a lot of work. But I think that the best example in such cleanup stuff is Facebook with PHP. They have chosen this technology at the very beginning, and they decided we need to live with it. We've wrote so much stuff with PHP that we needed to write our own compiler. So that's how it is in my opinion, with software projects. If you decided to stick with something, the decision to just leave it alone and forget about it, it ends up with, in my opinion, more and more work than is necessary. You just need to, hold your breath for a second when you encounter this awful function from this library that we should leave and eradicate 2 years ago. But there are more important things, especially to customers, than 1 or 5 wasted minutes of looking into the function signature.
Yeah, that's true. From my experience, from what I've seen in some Clojure projects, especially that we built with a big team, with kind of turnaround, with the new guys coming in. And sometimes when they learn the Clojure, the power of Clojure, macroses, some advanced stuff, they tend to over-engineer things and to create accidental complexity in the system. So have you met such situations in your practice?
Yeah, I think that it's when you will show macros to somebody, he will try to place them everywhere. When you will try to, when somebody will see or is learning async, he will try to put async everywhere. So I think that the main goal is to keep everything as simple as possible. You know, that's one of the most important parts of, I think, Clojure talks ever: simple made easy. So that's how I'm seeing it. But honestly, yeah, I think that I saw this practice where it's mostly related, honestly, to macros. When somebody sees macros, he's trying to find a place to put them. Honestly, I'm always trying to use functions in Clojure. If I can use a function, I'll use function. Macros are reserved for special use cases, in my opinion. So yeah, that's that.
I see. Maybe you can tell about some implications that were created by enterprise ecosystem that we are working in. So maybe something that usually, best practice in the usual Clojure world are not applicable in the enterprise environment.
Hard to tell, because in the referral network, when I have started, we were operating quite like a startup. So we had startup ideas, more free will than you have in the enterprise, where every decision needs to pass a process. In the referral network, we had a lot of free space to roam with new technologies, new libraries. So I think that's the element that differs to structures, to organizations. So when I've shifted from the referral network and jumped into more structured corporate environment, it was, a little bit frustrating for me to see that, I need to wait for someone to create a resource group for me. And it was, oh my God, it's so much time. Like I could done this by myself, like in 10 minutes or whatever. And it takes, much longer. But, we have the process. The process was created for a reason, and to prevent such developers as me to, I have created like 10 resource group, and this new Azure account is a mess. And, it prevents you from, doing like spawning some super GPU instances for hosting static websites. So that's how it looks. So very different approaches to problems.
Very interesting that this very isolated department in the technical sense. So you are talking about,
Yeah, so I don't want to get into politics, but I'm getting into that. In such big corporations, you can only imagine how such big corporations have different ventures, different departments, different offices, and in Dentons, all of those offices have autonomy. So this is one of our main policies, being polycentric. And that's how Dentons was growing for past years. We do not have like a single decisive center in the firm. Each office is capable of doing its own ventures if they find it necessary, useful, or whatever. So like the referral network sparked out of the global team. Multiple regions in Dentons have their own ventures.
That's actually interesting, like having this decentralization within the team.
Yeah, that makes Dentons special as a firm. Yeah, it's one of, I think, very interesting things about this firm itself. So we do not have like Apple has Cupertino, and there are just like everybody sits there, and the decisions are flowing from there. It's very different in here.
Yeah, that's. I guess it's really interested, like working in such a team. Yeah, and while you were speaking about having problems with Composure because of like security reasons, and you had some audits that showed that there are some dependencies. We need to remove them. We need to like solve them. I was thinking, if you maybe like in the history of you working on a team, if you ever had a case when someone told you that we should think about moving from Clojure in general because it's a liability or anything. I mean, there are multiple reasons that might cause this discussion. Yeah, security itself. Have you ever had such conversation with anyone?
Not exactly about security, but conversations about, let's say, simplifying the tech stack or things like that. So the very best answer was that I have heard. It was back when I wasn't a lead developer. I think it was my second or third year. Is that okay? So what do we want? What do we want to do? Do we migrate to WordPress with Google Sheets? So that's in general my answer. So if somebody asks me to change the test stack, I'm asking to what? What's the plan? And usually then the conversation goes on into other direction. Because it's very easy to question something, and it's very hard to put something in place. So if somebody would told me, we need to migrate to this and that, what is the cost effect? So we will waste, I don't know how many weeks, months, time, and we will achieve maybe the same thing or maybe something worse. So yeah, that's in general, my response. What will be the cost effect? What we'll achieve? That's how it ends.
I see. Yeah, that's interesting. Just I was thinking maybe you had such conversations because but I see that Dentons is not like the other enterprise environments that we worked before, because we used to work with enterprise where like the decisions are made from the top to the bottom, and it's not such a decentralized pillars within the team.
Yeah, very interesting culture.
Yeah, so a lot of things in Dentons are actually coming from the bottom. So people, at least for me in here, the culture in this firm is absolutely amazing. It's as I'm working here, it's a great thing to experience. So like people that we can call it flat structure of the firm in some cases, but I think that let's call it like people at the normal worker level are always being heard by people at the top. So yeah, that's how it looks.
And talking about moving from the Clojure, have you ever discussed the problems with recruiting, with finding new talents for the Clojure?
Yeah, that's one of, in my opinion, biggest pain points of Clojure in general. So in my opinion, it's it's very good in this ecosystem to keep very friendly relations with other developers because you don't know when you will need help. So that's my opinion about that. And yeah, it's honestly, it's quite hard to find somebody that is willing to basically has the skill or is willing to learn this technology as its niche. So that's actually hard. We often we're often in a situation where we need to ask contractors for some help because we had some issues with finding somebody right away, or the recruitment processes were taking very long. So yeah, it's we need more people in Clojure. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's really hard.
But it's also, you know, it's also like how to put it. I found that people that are writing Clojure are approaching some problems in a different way than the others.
Definitely.
And it makes, I think, those developers very valuable as it's the language and the methodologies provide different mindset.
Yeah, we discussed this a lot, and you've noticed that Clojure works as a filter for developers. So
yeah,
the guys who still learned Clojure, they are pretty good in general in development, not only in Clojure, but even in other technical stacks. Yeah. Very interesting. Okay, so let's move to another block of questions. And the name of our podcast is Clojure in Product, Would You Do It Again? So that's the main question. Would you do it again? Or would you start a new project in Clojure if you were asked, for example, Marcin, let's create some new module or new project in the company. So would you suggest Clojure as a technical stack?
It depends. It's not an easy, the answer is not easy. In Dentons, in my current firm, I think that it will be hard to recommend this language as I know, let's say after all those years, I know the firm very well, and I know that people in here are using different tech stacks usually. Considering all business related topics, as we were speaking previously, it's hard to find somebody. And in my opinion, in such big firms, it's very important to be able to reach out for people from basically the job market. So it's much easier to find someone that is writing, for example, C# or TypeScript. If I would be running startup and I would like, how this Western was called, Seven Magnificent or something like that, and I would have to pick like 7 really good developers for a startup, I think that I would recommend a Clojure. So it depends on the scale, it depends on what you want to achieve, on goals, strategy, so it's not easy decision.
I see. Very wise answer. Very interesting. You're probably the first one who not said definitely yes. But your answer
it's bold statement, definitely yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm also considering Clojure like there's I was thinking before this podcast about that. So it's in my opinion, when you had this Star Wars scene when Luke meets Obi-Wan for the first time and he shows him the lightsaber, so it's a legend tool for more civilized times. And I think that's also something for Clojure related topics. So you can have like Clojure Jedis and, or army of stormtroopers. So yeah, that's it depends on the scale if you're Empire or a Jedi Order. So
yeah. Yeah, interesting analogy. Maybe you have some words to people that are listening us right now.
wow.
Maybe from enterprise, maybe they are thinking, maybe they want to try Clojure for some microservice, because sometimes Clojure bring as a microservice language when you don't need to think a lot about big things. Maybe.
What I like to say, to people that haven't tried Clojure, definitely try it. It's a great language that will change your viewpoint on multiple problems, and basically it will make you a better developer. And for people that are already running Clojure, let's spread the word about this language and stick together. That's it.
Yeah. Let's build the job market together. Yeah, thank you, Marcin. It was really interesting. Very unusual point of view on the state, on the way how do you approach the technical things, and basically that's it. And I want to thank you that you joined podcast, that you shared all this knowledge, all this insights about the enterprise usage. And thank you, basically.
Thank you, Artem.
Yes. Thank you very much, Marcin. Yeah, it was nice to hear about Dentons and how you use Clojure and the history. And special thanks to our audience as well. So until next time.
Yeah, until next time.
See
Bye.
you.
See you.
Bye.